Good morning, everyone. You guys had a great holiday. Sometimes it's nice to have an extra day to catch up. All right. So it certainly looks like Friday was kind of a pre-holiday little holding, people going away possibly for a long weekend. The algo's playing around, and maybe the pain is ready to continue. And option expiration, absolutely true, McGraw. And so now, back to the factory work. You can see the 5-minute chart has been a little breakout failure right here. Love those. I'm going to be talking about patterns like this in this, I'm doing this Wealth 365 event this month. I think it's in a couple of weeks, but I'm going to be talking about patterns just like this. I'll drop the link later if you're interested. I just love these shock patterns, shock bars, things that just, get traders on the wrong side. You don't know what's going to happen until it happens, but when it happens, if you can recognize it quick, they're fantastic. And so now, to move down, and it's at 376 and gapping down near the low of Friday's low. We've got 25 minutes to go. Maybe it can get below the low of Friday's low. Wouldn't that be great? Little more of a shock pattern there. And, gapping down like that versus taking it out, starting out. And so we always look at where that is. 376. Why don't, okay, whatever. I don't have the line there. I don't know why. Let me put the line on there. Cursor always available. There we go. So now we can match up the lines on the 5-minute chart where it is on the hourly chart and on the daily chart. And you can see where it's gapping down too. So at the moment, it's stalled on this little shelf of support there on the hourly little cluster. And because it went up as it did, yes, there is a void above. If it could hold there, could it just be some kind of ridiculous kind of trading range that's developed here, where it goes back up again? We'll just have to see, but let's just spread this out. Right? This was last week where we talked about the possibility of this coming down kind of like a measured move. And rather than doing that, it held this low here and, the retest, and then came up to the pivots and stalled, right? So little ping pong in a little range there, and now gapping down here. And so kind of, easily should take it down there. Back down to the low down there. There's nothing to stop it. There's the gap fill, of course. We'll see what it does there. So just, be aware of that gap. But, we go into this week with a green bar ignored, and the prior week, a red one. It didn't close deep into it, but it like this one, see how deeply it closed in there. So it got about maybe halfway, didn't close deep into it, but now it is on the weekly chart. Okay. Gapping down, last week's low. And that's a weekly bearish pattern. And I mean, the week is just starting, but it's gapping down like that. And assuming, look, this doesn't have some kind of a miracle rally in the first half hour going right back up to the highs. It jiggles around down there. We have nothing else to think but it's going to come down here and test this. And I think most likely, since it stopped in the middle of the trading range and gapping down, it's going to take that out. And so, how far it goes down from there, I don't want to get a little too ahead of ourselves, but, it could just poke below here and flip up, but it could come all the way down somewhere into here. So that's a real possibility. And, one of the things that I noticed, probably a lot of people noticed, was that while this Friday reversal occurred almost everywhere, it didn't happen in the semiconductors. Access SMH. Come on, e-signal. I guess it's early. Anyway, if you look at it, I don't know why it's taking so long, probably because I typed the wrong symbol to begin with. There we go. And, that broke lower. It's certainly not green and closed weak. You can see this has room to drop before it reaches anything to the left there. That's not looking good. So this keeps going down. How is tech going to go up? And so looking at the usual suspects, like NVIDIA closed weak. And so, this is kind of like what I wanted to see happen. I was very skeptical of that green bar following through. It certainly could have, unless it has that reversal. It's certainly not going to. It's going to go lower. So futures, nothing of significance unless it was at the close. Right? Well, it took it out. So it triggered. And now down here. So if we were looking at this at the end of the day, I'd be talking about a measured move, going back down to the low here, taking it out, which, I think that's going to happen anyway, but it hasn't broken a prior day's low. And last week I mentioned part of our factory work is what is our first reference point of support? Prior day's low. Has it taken out a prior day's low? No, not yet. So, little bearish, but neutral. It could survive and turn into a green bar, but we'll have to see. All right. So SPX opening down here. Jacob says 3690, which is up above 3690. Down 3690. That could be within striking distance, Jacob, today. Look at the cursor on the hourly chart. All right, we know it's opening down here. And once it breaks this, you have no line of defense. You got the gap fill, yes. But maybe it's not what I'm going to have to see it drop and then evaluate, but just 90 by $1.05. I wouldn't do it. Not at the open anyway. Top. Okay, so let's do a kind of like a eyeballing. Take this out, double the size of this range. All right, if we could take this bar and flip it up above the 20 MA, something above 38.90. Do we have something there? Drum roll, please. Nada. 38.60. Certainly could work. I'm not that 38.75. 40 by 50 cents. We're back to that. Remember a year ago? That's the kind of stuff we were looking at, and then now things juiced up more this year. Um, yeah, 20 MA up there. I think it's reasonable to start. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'll give that a yes. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's get down here. S&Ps, going a little lower. Where's my NQs? Oh, I must have hit something over the weekend. Almost back down to the low. So you got to be careful with this kind of an open. It's been falling like this. And it would not surprise me at all to see the open pop down here and rip right back up in your face. So watch out for that. Don't be so anxious to jump on board this. Maybe if you're watching it now and you see this start rolling back over, you'll have to decide, get some kind of continuation. This was a nice pattern right here where is what we call creating resistance, where you get a momentum move like that. And someone could say, well, what about a climactic buy type of setup there, Greg? And you look to the left on the hourly and there's pivots there. That was certainly doable as a counter trend trade. But then when you say, oh, okay, this one, maybe it pulls back and continues higher and double tops. That's why, you know what? You hear me say, look to the left, look to the left. You don't need anything else. It creates a pivot. It's created resistance. There's going to be sellers there again. What does it do? Does it go through it or does it come back down? Comes back down. Sellers are in control. What about this pivot? Well, yeah, maybe you're going to get whipped around. That's trading. Is it a no-brainer? But down it went. So destination somewhere down here. And especially if this continues to drop and comes down there, buyers will step up, as a counter trend trade, and then we'll see what happens. All right. YM. Same story. You see the bar is about the same. Should keep going lower. Nothing to stop it. Russell. Same story. So when I look at, and say, well, what about that? Maybe, but you need a really powerful pattern. Whereas down here, are you going to have more institutions and traders willing to step up here or here? I think no brainer. I'm here. So while someone, it comes down like that, someone's going to probably buy 1,700 and so on, the whole number. I think ultimately coming down to this level is where you could get a bigger bounce, especially if it goes straight down there. All right. And ultimately, I guess tomorrow, if this closes weak, let's assume this does come down there, where this bar continues to come in and closes like that. I mean, it would take a miracle to reverse this, not to go down here and lower. And Bitcoin was up a little bit, then it was down a bit. It's getting rejected as it pops up. That's not looking good. We talked about the fact that this had a void down there. I don't know why it should stop anywhere else. There's this little nothing kind of shelf there. Looks like more pain. Like more pain is coming. There's the drop in crude oil. And interest rates coming down to major support, where buyers will be there. But that's the mentioned last week, Some looking at this as, oh, that's a reprieve from the inflation thing. It's also a vote in the camp for recession coming. So I trade 5-minute time frame. I see bottoming hill bar. I put my order 1 bar stop loss, but I don't know what my target is. Tell me how I know my target. And I'll come to MT Live. If you don't know it, that's a pretty basic question. Sunil, and I'm not saying something to, put you down and say by basic, but if you've been coming to these pre-market events or MT Lives, and you hear me saying, look to the left, I got it on some of the charts. I mean, how obvious can it be? You don't need trend lines, fib lines, VWAP tools, or other find tools. Simply look to the left for support or resistance. So it's not just about you get a bottoming tail bar. Where did the bottoming tail bar form? Did it form its support? What happened on the way down to forming a bottoming tail bar? Did it create a void? So a candlestick is one concept. It could be totally meaningless without understanding support, resistance, relative strength, relative weakness, looking to the left, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, I can't give you a course here, but hey, go to the website, take the gap course, take the swing trading course, quick track to learning. All right, so Bitcoin has been rejected, crude oil's dropping. So if you shorted crude oil here, right? Let's just say you hourly chart, you shorted crude oil. I don't know what this looks like on a it's going down. It stopped here and reversed back down again. All right. All right. Without even looking at this, whatever. Where is it? All right. That's right there. All right. And it starts slamming. And let's just say you shorted this retest. Look to the left. Where are you going to cover? Near this prior low. Right? Near the prior low. You're a 5-minute chart trader. You're not Warren Buffett. You're not looking for, that's a home run trade on a 5-minute chart. All right, silver getting clobbered. Just continuing to go down, nothing to stop it. Gold, that started last week. Gold going down. Euro going down, which means the dollar's going up. Look at the euro getting slammed, getting close to that parity. It's been a long time. British pound. Someone in the green room was asking about the dollar double topping. I said, no. I said, benefit of the doubt goes to the trend. All right, 28.40, gapping above there. Nothing good happening here today. I mean, if you're looking for the market to bottom or go long. So there you have it. To you, Dan. Can you repeat your thoughts on levels for SPX? I said 30. I don't know, you can get premium there now, but was up here near the 20 MA. So what you could do now that this is dropping, just go look at what the premiums are down below here if it keeps dropping at the open. But join the green room. All right, live questions whenever. Happy to look at that.
All righty, good morning. Yeah, so, our bias Friday, we said over Friday's high, continued bounce, but we didn't know how far, typically, it's not going to get much further, maybe one day, maybe two under Friday's low. We're bearish as a continuation pattern. So yeah, we'll chill here at the open. I saw that oil falling, and I read that thing about Citibank saying if we have demand destruction, recession, then oil could hit crude could hit 65 this year. But this is a recent collapse in the last 20 minutes or whatever. So I don't know if I don't know. I mean, it's the other one was priced in. So I don't know if it has to be new news. And then Bitcoin, I'm reading in the journal, and it's all over the news too. I'm actually surprised this is not getting whacked more than it is. There's more of these, brokers halting withdrawals. Peter Thiel backing a big company is that thing in lockdown, and I don't know. It's not looking good. The charts, the daily, the weekly is like a cliffhanger, bear 1, 2, 3. I think if we get a measured move from here to here down, there's because of this void, there's room to fall. Right there, 14,000. That's my target. Let's see what else we have over here. We have a couple put spreads we put on in Friday's strength. We'll manage them. The advisory letter, we're not that heavy at all. I got alarms on everything. The weekend letter, we gave both longs and shorts. This LYT, I saw this last week, bouncing here. Did I lose my pre-market? Yep, sure did. I always lose pre-market. All right, so this LYT, perking a little bit here today. This is pre-market of 1, 2, 3. This could easily give us a nice little day trade. I'm going to put that in this chart right here. Tesla, I put in the weekend letter to do a condor, and it still might be fine. It's far out of the money put spread, far out of the money call spread. But just with the uncertainty and the gap in the market, I said hold off. But it's still a watch item. Anything green is showing relative strength in a weak market. The Dow 30, solid red. I don't see a single green pre-market. This thing, apron, was coming out of the gutter down here. This is a continuation bar, red bar ignored. Strength this morning. So it's a bottoming pattern, not a clean one, but it's above the 20 and 50. I don't know what the heck this is, but it's popped here pre-market. There was, look at that, absolutely no volume. So this thing was a dead animal. Kind of looks like a SPAC, I guess. Maybe the SPAC is going real today. Hey, Greg Don's asking what time's your presentation? Oh, okay. All right, Crocs here I saw up pre-market, potential double bottom, but in a downtrend. And the weeklies, we got bearish engulfing bars. So these two are not in alignment, and that's why the bounces that we were saying last week, for a kind of a similar reason, I said over and over again, these are just bounces and downtrends, unless the weekly had a different picture. Yeah, I saw that Lawrence. Yeah, he has a commercial. What a joke! That's a total joke. I hope people do move to California. Let them pay their taxes over there, and maybe they'll bring down our real estate values, because everyone moving here is jacking up our prices and making the roads more crowded. So Rio commodity here, Rio commodities have been whacked here, and look at this nasty pre-market still. So Tesla, the news is out that their quarterly deliveries are way down, and I think Berlin, they had to shut down a plant for a couple of weeks. Look at this Duolingo. We had naked $65 puts on this. You'll see it on the trade review coming out. I talked about this and also GME being stocks that went against us, and we still made money on the short puts. And I said, wow, this is a nice little turn right here at the 50. So let's keep an eye on this for a new put spread. I'm gonna put that in the window with the other computer. 3 to 4, July 14th. These were a couple showing relative strength ETFs here. So bullish price action after a deep retracement. So over Friday's high, XLV, XLI, double bottom. See? XLB, potential double bottom with a new low plus, but it has to get over Friday's high. XME, pretty similar. Tan, still a mess. Nike, I think, had favorable Barron's mentioned, but that's a nasty downtrend. LBS, favorable Barron's, gapping down. Beyond, bottoming pattern over Friday's high. I like as a put spread. Redfin, it's a potential bottoming pattern. It's still in a downtrend, but this deep retracement and the potential higher low with the 20 MA flattening out, it's potential. TFC, potential. Look, 20 MA flatten out. Go-go alarm here. But they're not tier ones, but tick negative 1500. Wow. All right, go-go. This was a closing breakdown. This was in the weekend letter. Let's watch that 5-minute low. Marriott, I had a low alarm. All right. This we have a put spread and we nibbled. So Greg, we took the weekend risk on this one, Marriott, remember? So that's not a good looking gap. Well, it's not hitting the stop, but let's keep an eye on it. Hey, Robert. But we got a bearish continuation of Friday's close. I'm sorry, bearish continuation of the pre-market bearish consolidation.